Today, I speak firmly on behalf of the government side, and we strongly regret the implementation of military-style disciplinary measures or pembarakan for problematic students in West Java. So, let's begin with that this policy actually look like. Students who are considered troublesome, those who skip schools, talk back to the teachers, or break the minor rules are sent to a boot camp style program. They are woken up in the dawn, drilled like a soldiers, shunted it, and made to the march and exercise under the sun, often shamed publicly. And it's all of this done in the shame of discipline. We ask, are the students criminals? No, there are children, teenagers, young people going through one of the most confusing stage on their life. And instead of giving them care and support, there are punish them as if like those who are in the military. That is not discipline. It's humiliation. So let's talk about the physiological damages this causes. Being removed from the school and sent to this camps reference is one of the dangerous idea. Why? Because that you are a failure, that you are the problem, that you are a lot of caution instead of the helping student and set sin and hurt. We strip away their dignity. We break them down to emotionally and we often this leads to a depression, anxiety, or rebellion, not transform. Second, this kind of a punishment creates a dangerous label. Once a student has been sent to a pembarakan, they are branded for life as anak nakal. That's the labeling following them back to the school, to their community, and even online, but the teachers treat them differently. Classmates make fun of them, and a parent often give up on them. Instead of giving them a second choice, we isolated them even further. But the biggest flaw in this policy is it completely ignored the root causes. Ignore the root causes of student misbehavior. Why? Why? Because the student act out. It could be due a family issue, bullying, mental health problems, learning disorder, or poverty. Many students act out because they are struggling and they have no safe place. But pembarakan doesn't explore the why. It's only punished the what. That's no correction. That's negligence. Now, let's talk about alternative. We are not saying discipline is unnecessary, but there are a better proven method. Positive discipline, counseling, clear mentoring, restorative justice, and their approach help students reflect on their action to take a responsibility and grow from their mistake. This method treats students as a human being, not as a soldiers. Also, let's not forget the risk of abuse. There are crimes overrated with a very little oversight. Who ensures the students are treated with dignity and check if his officers are trained in the child psychology. Have been a lot of cases where students were injured or traumatized and no one was held accountable. And this is very dangerous. The government is not saying we should let a bad behavior go unpunished. What we are saying is the punishment must be fair, effective, and compassionate. And pembarakan fails all three. So, in a conclusion, we regret this policy because it treats students like a problem to be fixed instead of the people to be guided. And it's realized that on a fear not understanding and also creates trauma not change, and it reflects an education system more focused on the controlling them than a care. So West Java children deserve better. They deserve empathy, support, and a second chance, not the drill sergeant, not the boot camp. Thank you. I speak today on behalf of the opposition, and we stand firmly against regretting the implementation of military-style disciplinary measures or pembarakan for problematic students in West Java. So let's be honest about the reality. Some of the students in our school are not just struggling, they are disrupting the learning environment for the others. Then we are talking about repeated violence, bullying, disrespect to the children, vandalism, skipping school for a week, and even drug-related behavior. And these are not mild cases. There are extreme and they demand serious intervention. So, what do you do when the parents, teachers, and counseling haven't failed? That's where pembarakan comes in as a last resort and not a first option. These programs are not about the torture or abuse. They are about the profiting structure, discipline, and real world consequences for this behavior. But before that, let me ask, is it better to let the students spiral out of control? To let out dropouts to get a crime or ruin the future for others in the classroom? I think no, because pembarakan offers them a second chance, a strict structure environment where they can reflect on their action, reset their mindset, and return to the school with a very new attitude. And so many students do, there are countless testimonials from young people who say pembarakan changed their life. It's give them the confidence and also discipline purposes and things they never get from the school or home. And let's not ignore the reality that some of the children come from the broken household or negligence. For them, is it the first time for someone says, "You can do better, you can be more"? Next, let's talk about the structural differences. Indonesia is not a Western country. We come from a culture that values literacy, discipline, and community responsibility. And I think for the military style of the training for a student in West Java, it respected here. Is it used to be scouting, youth program, or even a public service training? It's not about the breaking student, and it's about the building them through challenges. And while the government side complains about the physiology harm, let me remind you, students are not thrown into a jungle and screamed at the 44-hour. And this program includes the group activity, psychological training, motivational talk, and peer of bonding. And they are often supervised by a former military or trained facilitators, not random tongues. Of course, pembarakan should be abused. Must be strict guidance, monitoring, and parental consent, but the answer is not to cancel it altogether. Instead of let's improve it, let's combine it with the counseling and follow up program. Now, let's talk about the resources. Resources is not every school in West Java has access to psychological or social workers. Talking about restorative justice and mental health support, it's nice in the theory, but its practice, many schools are understaffed, underfunded, and overwhelmed. Pembarakan is one of the few scalable, affordable solutions for available now. So, in conclusion, pembarakan is not a perfect system, but it's a necessary one. It's not about a fear, it's about a responsibility. It does not destroy future, but it saves them. For some students, it's a tough wake-up call they need to turn their life around. And this is why we do not regret this implementation. Thank you.